Welcome in, welcome in, welcome once again to the newest edition of 3 in, 3 Out, the most unique Seahawks recap show in the multiverse. I'm your host, Clinton Bonner, and I am joined by the one, the only, the great Brandan Schultz. Brandon, we're recording this on Monday night. Our game was Thursday night, so we had plenty of time to wash this one away a little bit, this 41-35 loss to the Dallas Cowboys. Brandon, a couple of general observations. I guess first and foremost, I want to say you're looking very dapper. You look like you look shaved, you look combed, you look like you. I know you got a Seahawks shirt on, but like I could envision you in a black tux. That's what I can see, Brandon.
Just got out of the sauna. I did moosed up my hair. So yeah, I mean, I do this for you, Clinton. Like,
thank you.
If there's going to be one handsome dude on the screen, why not have two?
Right. Hey, double the handsome. And I appreciate that compliment. Now, quick question for the viewers out there. Are you a sauna owner was that in jest?
That was in jest.
Okay.
But I would be a sauna owner if like they make those portable ones.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
Like I get them in my ad feeds everywhere because they know like I'm a middle-aged dude.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I bet we could market a sauna to this guy. and it works because I'm thinking, man, how do I not have that on my Christmas list yet?
Why am I not a sauna owner, right? I feel like I've reached that age where I could own a sauna.
I put it in the garage. I just got to make a little space.
You got places you could move a few boxes, and then all of a sudden you're living like the Swedish Nordic life there, right? Yeah. So I've got buddies that are popping up in Connecticut in my town, that are like, oh yeah, I got the portable sauna. Like it's becoming, and they get the portable ice bath. They're doing the whole thing. They're all in. They do the portable sauna, they did the portable ice bath, and maybe that's a little of the raging yin and sober yang, or maybe flip that, the raging yang and sober yin. That is 3 in, 3 Out, Brandon, the ice bath and the sauna.
I know. I look so good that I'm being mistaken for Sean McVay already, so I must be doing something right.
Yes.
Although I know I sound like 100 times better than that dude.
Yeah, he has kind of a strange voice. All the D-bag vibes are going. I've always said, of everybody on the Seahawkers podcast, I'm by far the most McVay. I do put gel in my hair. I wear visors. I'll wear a tank top. I'm very, very McVay.
That dude owns a sauna for sure.
Oh, he like distributes saunas, that guy. There is no doubt about that. All right, Brandon. Well, we've got to get to this and distribute our own through our ins, our outs about this Dallas game. Before we do get into that, since it's a couple days old now, I do want to have just a little general conversation, some observations. First and foremost, if I were to say to you, Brandon, hey, for the rest of this season and maybe forevermore, our Seahawks are going to wear our throwback uniforms, what would you say?
Yeah, I'm fine with it. Let's do it.
Right? Shouldn't they just wear them? Don't they just look gorgeous? And then the first time through was like, oh, nostalgia. They're beautiful. The second time I was like, these should just be it. Like they look so good. And I think we happen to play a little better football on them too. I know we beat the Browns. We barely lose to the Cowboys. The offense is flying. DK's going 22.3 something gigawatts and away he goes, turning back time. I just think that in those uniforms, we play better football. And I know we look better.
Look, Geno Smith, he throws multiple touchdown passes. DK Metcalf doesn't cause penalties. Maybe the defense could play a little bit better in them. That would be okay.
That would be okay, and I'm all for that. We're going to talk about some defense today for sure. That was general observation number one. I'm not going to pick on Bobby Wagner in my outs. I will say that Bobby going horizontal, event horizon stuff, it's getting a little ugly in some of the coverage, some of the things, but that's just. I'm not going to pick on Bobby on the outs. It's just he's getting a little exposed as the year wears on. And man, the Rams game or the Cowboys game, we had to have one of those two. We get neither. And then the NFL does us zero favors. The Browns, Flacco, missing an extra point. That game looks lopsided. It's a missed extra point away from being tied late fourth quarter. Freaking Jordan Love and the refs finally don't call something. They don't call a DPI. And Jordan Love beat the Chiefs somehow. Chiefs are not actually that good.
Well, they could have called the defensive pass interference because they called that roughing the passer hit when Mahomes was still in bounds. So they had to bounce it out.
Had to go somewhere, right? Because Mahomes is he's just lollygagging out of bounds, and God forbid that a defender hits a quarterback while they're still in bounds. It's just like,
Can't
come
have
on,
that. Can't have that in our NFL.
can't do that. It's hey, it prevents all the injuries. There are no major injuries in the NFL. The more and more and more and more they protect the quarterback, injuries are down to like zero, or
Yeah.
maybe the exact opposite's happening. I don't know, right? So just goes to show you, hey, pitch count in baseball, yet more and more and more Tommy John surgeries, all the protection for quarterbacks, and yet more and more and more injuries. I don't know. Maybe it's I'm not sure it's logic, but it is a trend I'm seeing there. So, all right, Brendan, we don't get to start with an in. We got to revisit this. We got to do this. Any other general observations? Good, bad, ugly, NFL, Seahawks, holiday season, whatever you want, dude. Anything you got?
I want a win in the next 2 weeks for Christmas. I want my
Yes.
Christmas to be here early.
You know
What I
what?
want.
That's a great thing. We really can't go 0 for 5. I mean, we could, right? We could lose 5 in a row. Winning one of these next two will be it's paramount. Um, Maybe necessary. I think we kind of have to go. We were talking a little earlier, at least 3-2 to have a shot. 4-1, we probably still get in. 3-2, still got a pretty good shot to get in. And people, the season's still not over. We went into week 18, week 17, game 17 last year. We had a win, and we had to have Detroit beat Green Bay in Green Bay, right? That game was in Lambeau. And that all happened. Things happen in the NFL. Injuries will still happen these next 5 weeks. The Vikings are not very good. The Buccaneers are not very good. Packers are okay. The Rams are okay. We still have a good shot to make it, but we gotta control our own destiny and play a little bit better in these big spots. So, all right, Brendan, well, what do you say? Then we want to get rocking. We got to start with an out. We got a job to do. What do you say?
I brought the whammy. Let's do it.
Oh, you did. Look at you.
Yeah. I was ready
Look
this
at
time.
look at you. It wasn't in the other. Well, last time was right after Thanksgiving, right? So you had
That's
to
right.
move it. We talked about that. Had to go to the other room. I am worried. Like if you leave your car like not running too long and you got to start it every now and again to make sure it just doesn't die on you, right? Doesn't stall
Yeah.
out. I hope the MVC 3D printer is okay. Like go do something else with it. Like just do something so that when we do get our victory, you can restart it with no problem. Is that an issue for us, by the way?
Well, we could get the MVC trophy started, and then that way it's ready. All we have to do is send it to the engraver to put on the nameplate.
Yeah, I mean, I would typically say that's like bad juju and bad luck, but at this point, yeah, just do it.
We still want it to be functional.
Yeah. we need that's a very expensive 3D printer. We put everything into it. It needs to work. All right, we're gonna go to out one. So first out. All right, look, this is a dude I don't want to pick on, but gotta do the work here. Q1 7-3 Dallas. They're at their own 19-yard line. Brandon, this is that early thing. It's 3rd and 16. Defense is doing work. Defense hasn't backed up 3rd and 16. And, it's like an empty set. I think there's 5 wide receivers if you include Ferguson, who's kind of just in tight. The funny part about this play, if you go back and watch it, is that Ferguson, quote unquote, chips Taylor and puts him on his butt, like takes Taylor out of the game and just kind of goes out to the flat. Now, credit to the Cowboys. They're running just deep routes and they're bringing the DBs have got to chase them deep, got to protect. Ferguson gets the ball basically 5 yards. He's catching it. I put it on screen there. 4 yards downfield. He's catching the ball. All right. Spoon's got to come up off screen. He's got to cover a lot of ground. But this is a tight end. This is Jake Ferguson. He's a pretty good tight end. He boxed out and beat Adams later for that touchdown.
Right.
But for Spoon to miss this early, and he ends up getting like 18 yards in this play. I highlighted Spoon here. Kind of comes in out of control. Yeah, I know Spoon probably is feeling like he's got to do a lot because just last week we had that Jennings play, right, where he's trying to stand a dude up and they break free. But he's got to make this tackle here, Brandon. It was early, and the poor tackling for Seattle. It was better in this game in some instances. This was not one of them. I love Spoon. The early out goes to him. It was early in the game. 3rd and 16, tight end dump. You can't let them get a first down on this dude.
And I think part of it here, and to give Spoon a little bit of credit, is, well, it may just be the defense in general too. But if you look at that top left picture, the only thing that you see in the whole frame is Frank Clark's helmet, and he's about 10 yards away from the dude. So
Yeah,
they had Jake Ferguson out in space with nobody within 8 yards of him
at least, yeah.
when and he's just standing there. So you've got to then come up and try and make a tackle. And Ferguson's not just going to stand still and wait for you to tackle him. Like, he's an NFL player who's going to try and make you miss. So the fact that you're having to run up and try and cover so much space, it makes it so much easier for dudes like this to break tackles.
It does. And I think it may be even a bit harsh because Spoon has been so good. It's just one of those things where we've seen Spoon be so consistent. He has been a really good open field tackler. And to basically blow an early third down, and then Dallas marches all the way down. They only get 3 on this drive. It's saved with the Jordan Brooks sack. He comes in, gets that on third down later, and then Aubrey puts it through for 3, which is not a bad outcome, really not a bad outcome at all, considering they ended up at 41. But it's just like, it's these early things. Like, defense did its job, first couple of plays, 3rd and 16 is get off the field time.
But this is the play that teams always run. They
Yes.
just wait for Seattle to run down the field and then drop it to the wide open dude who nobody's on, and they try and get the first down. And we've seen it. We've seen teams convert this way too many times.
That's part of it as well. It's just, it's too much, too soon, really early in the game. And then what happens though is, like, it matriculates later in the game. Our defensive line was not as good as it was the first half. The first half just had more fire, which makes sense. We score a super quick touchdown. We're back on we're back on defense, right? So time possession was heavily slated in Cowboys' favor in the first half, and that showed out in the second half. So it's things like this. Listen, we got to play the Niners next. We just saw what they did to the Eagles. They couldn't tackle either. Kind of makes you feel okay about us, but it ain't going to get easier. So we got to show up to tackling. First out goes to Spoon. There are some really cool things to talk about. So let's get to the cool stuff. What do you say? Okay. He says yes. He says yes. I'm going to slide right into number 1. All right, here we go. Okay, so while we got Spoon on the outside of the ledger, let's go to the other side of the cornerback room, shall we? And I'll just title this with a little like Tariq responds. So what I like to highlight is that on back-to-back plays, this is the same exact drive, by the way. So this is early. We still have a Q1 0-0 opening drive. 1st and 10 now. We're at Seattle's 12-yard line, and I got 2 plays because this was first down and second down. First down, you can see right here. This is great man coverage on a CeeDee Lamb slant. He breaks this play up. That's tough, man. CeeDee Lamb is emerging as he was always drafted super high, and he's certainly emerging as like a top 10, maybe even top 5 receiver. Got something special cooking with Dak. He's really, really good. Tariq breaks this up. It's a great job. The next play is a sequence where then he's up against Ferguson. We saw, again, Ferguson kind of body Adams later in the game. Tariq wasn't having it. He gets a little out of position. He tries to jab him at the, not quite the line, but about 2 yards out there. Ferguson makes a pretty good move to the corner. Tariq recovers on this play. No, somehow, some way, Brandon, you could guard a guy, not touch him, and not get a PI flag. I didn't know that was legal, but no PI. Bats it down. Back-to-back plays. Next play is the Jordan Brooks sack we talked about, and the Cowboys only get 3. So Tariq really stymied this drive almost all by himself, and it was a great job. He played a better game too. What'd you think about Tariq last Thursday?
One of the stats that stands out to me with Woolen in particular is he did give up 6 catches, but on those 6 catches, the yards after the catch average was 1.2. So he gave up 7 total yards after the catch in 6 receptions that he gave up. So that's one of those things that I like. It kind of contrasts the first point. And he was right on top of the guy. It's easy to make a tackle a lot faster if you're right on top of the guy. And he tackled well in this game.
Yes,
and I saw several of the comments in our flock about Tariq Woolen's tackling too.
Yeah, I think maybe just a little bit time on the old bench, whether that was a heavy air quotes shoulder injury or not. I think it did him well. I honestly think there were probably a couple of major conversations that happened after the Niners game on Thanksgiving. I think one of them was with Shane Waldron. I think Pete had a heart-to-heart being like, hey, dude, we're going to run the ball and we're going to do this a little bit more my way and let's go. And that proved out. And I think there was some hard talk with Woolen about, look, you got to decide if you're a Seahawk, like a Seahawks style defender. And if you are, and you're going to play cornerback, well, that means you got to hit. And he first chance he had, he was laying the wood. And then throughout the game, he really played a much, much more sound game. It's somebody got in his ear. And I think it starts with Pete and ends with Carroll, but I believe he got in his ear. I'm happy to put him on the inside of the ledger. There was a lot of really good stuff we saw from Tariq this game. So keep it up. Lord knows we're going to need it versus the Niners. All right, let's get to that next out, please, Brandon. Whammy. There's the whammy. There's the whammy.
There it is.
There it is. Right where it needs to be. Okay. All right. So Q2, 10-7 Dallas. And then we had this game so many times, by the way. Q2, 10-7 Dallas. They're at Seattle's 47-yard line. Jordan Love makes a nice play on 3rd and 4 to make this a 4th and 1. It was a Dak keeper, and Jordan Love makes a bit of a shoestring
Julian
tackle.
Love, yeah.
Yep. Totally Julian Love and not the quarterback for the Packers. Julian Love, number 20, makes an awesome shoestring on Dak, makes it 4th and 1. I appreciate that. And then it's 4th and 1 here. Look, 4th and 1s in the NFL are going to be hard to stop. When we play the Eagles a couple of weeks from now on Monday Night Football, 4th and 1, Brandon, what are we going to see on 4th and 1?
They're just going to do the love shove.
That's it. The tush push, the brotherly shove, the love shove. Cowboys, they don't do that. But the thing is, I know it's difficult to stop 4th and 1. I get that. Your chances are, below 50% likely you're going to get a stop, probably like 30%. But it doesn't mean you should make it easy. And this is what I want to. I was pull up 2 frames. Okay, here's Dak under center. You could barely see off screen there. Should have cropped it better. You got Pollard. Just set deep there. And they got a tight formation, all that stuff. Now just watch our right-hand side within the snap, okay? Our right-hand side, you got Taylor. This is Woolen. That's Brooks. Brooks, I don't really blame on this one, but let's look at the other 2 quickly. Look where they are. I mean, this is 4th and 1. I understand that you think they're going to go up the middle. I get that. All the Cowboys, the center and the left guard and the left tackle, they were actually looked like they were trying to block left. It wasn't like they were actually trying to seal this. The left tackle has to follow Taylor inside, so he just does. And then Woolen's way inside. Pollard ends up going downfield for like 10 yards on this. I know it's 4th and 1, but darn it, can't we make it a little bit more difficult so they're not just walking this thing and moving the chains on us? Because this was a tough one for me, Brandon. So little nitty. There's plenty of outs, but I want to focus on this one because we kind of seen it before, and I want to see us do better, especially on the edge out there.
Yeah, the one on the right there. So Woolen on the where his position is probably bothers me the most. Who's the other guy that has the arrow?
That's Taylor. So Taylor just jumps right inside.
That one doesn't bother me quite as much because if you're going for a tackle for a loss, then you're check it out. Oh, hello. Hi, Siri.
yeah, that was my Lexi talking to me for some reason. Don't know why, but that's fine.
It wants to be on the show too.
Wants to be on the show. Yeah, we need viewers.
The thing with Taylor, it doesn't bother me as much because I think you want to go for a tackle for a loss because if they get to the line of scrimmage, it's not that far that they have to push. So if you're making a move on the tackle and trying to get in the backfield, that's fine. It's not sealing the outside, and you just have to when you're Woolen.
Yeah, it's the combo package that kind of got to me. Where, like I said, we made it too darn simple. We made it too simple for a 4th and 1 where Pollard's not touched for 8 or 9 yards. If it's a 4th and 1 and they design a little wheel route or something like that, and you tip your cap and say you got us, they didn't do that. They just lined up. If we played this differently, the thing too is the one thing I wrote down and I wanted to point out is as this play goes on, we get good push. Reed wins his rep and Leo wins his rep. They win their reps. They do their job up the gut. So Pollard, I think, notices that. It's like, okay, well, I've got free reign out here. It just bounces it outside. I really don't think that was actually the call to run off tackle until it was given to him. So, all right, it's another out. There was plenty we could choose from. One to get something that I think A couple days later, we probably forgot about this play. I wanted to resurrect it so we could talk about some of the easiness on 4th and 1, more glaring things for certain. But let's get to another in. I've got a great one cooked up that I know people will love. And not Jordan Love, not even Julian Love, just straight Seahawks love. Probably my favorite one. We don't get the chance to do, we don't get the MVC, and it makes me sad because this is MVC, this is MVC territory when we do win. Q3, we're up 21-20. By the way, on this drive, we go up 28-20.
Yeah.
We lose this game. Q3, 21-20 Seahawks. We are at Dallas's, no, our own 46. It's 1st and 10. So we're set up here. It's a Gino. I think it's Gino under center. Either way, it's a handoff to Charbonnet. And I've highlighted the man. I got a couple more here. He's already chipped his guy on the edge. He's heading to the second level. That's Abe Lucas, and I'll progress it just a little bit further. And there's a couple of shots here. Look at Abe's engaging this dude. This is a cool play, by the way. Delu pulls, Fant pulls from the left side to the right. Delu from the left guard over to the right, kicking his guy out. Great blocks on the edge, and then Abe Lucas just basically running the train on this guy. And then at the very end there, that's Abe. That's the 7 you can see in the back of his jersey now, 2 yards over the line of scrimmage. And in that pile is actually Charbonnet still steamrolling for he falls for another yard and a half from that moment. Right. This was the Abe Lucas is back play and the type of football that I think Pete sat Waldron down and said, yeah, we're going to do more of this and it's going to be okay. And this was the highlight for me, man. I love this play.
Abe Lucas just pushing that sled 12 yards down the field, essentially, because the point is that this is a 1st and 10 play.
Yes.
And you see the first down line on the bottom, which Lucas is already past and putting his dude on the ground.
Which is amazing. Right? And that's the kind of stuff. Now we're doing this on the road, which is cool. It's demoralizing. This is the kind of stuff that if you could do this in front of a home crowd, like get this cooking, it just gets insane. The very next play, Brandon, it's a little toss sweep left side to Sharps. He goes for 8 yards, gets the face mask penalty for 15 more yards. So in 2 plays, we get 23 plus 13, 36 yards with penalty, and then 2 runs, and we're in the red zone. This is how we should be playing football. I am not the biggest run pass advocate. It works sometimes. I'm not like, you don't got to always do it. No. I just felt our blend was so much better this game than it has been in probably 5 weeks.
A lot more first down runs against the Cowboys than I think that we've seen leading up to this game.
Yeah. I mean, do you also think, do you subscribe to the Pete just sat Waldron down and said, we're going to do this differently? Do you think it was that simple, or is it gameplay, game against the Cowboys? We could do this differently. Will we see it again versus the Niners? Or it's like, no, you gotta go matchup.
I don't know if I think that those are things that they talk about before every game. And maybe they had plans to do it before. It seems like it's a conversation had to have happened. I don't know if it did though.
I'm in my brain gonna say it did. I could see from the reactions. We got Car. We got Amy there. People are digging the Lucas one. He did make a difference. He made a difference in the passing game. It's just about there was plenty of times, and I watched Parsons quite a bit, especially on the rollback, the rewatch. He flip-flops different sides. He just goes whatever. He's on different sides the entire game. Cross did a pretty good job with him. He beat Cross a couple times, but that's Parsons. He's going to do that. And same thing with Lucas. Lucas did a very nice job with Parsons. It was just with that kind of speed, what was cool with Lucas was he was quick enough to just get to the outside and just ride him off, into the sunset just long enough. It wasn't amazing protection, but against Parsons, all world, long enough for Gino to set, and make accurate throws. There was only a couple, the miss to Disley, that maybe 1 or 2 others that come to mind, but there was really, Gino played a really, really strong game. Anything else come to mind for you from the pass pro and Lucas's impact?
It's well, Lucas in the pass game struggled compared to in the run game, and it was good that he was as effective as he was, and he had kind of a tough matchup, especially with having to take on Parsons in some of those moments. So it was a tough game to come back in and
Yeah.
perform well, and so I'm looking forward to him hopefully building upon that here now in these next couple games.
Doesn't get much easier, right? It don't
Doesn't
get much. No, he's got Bosa next, and then who plays left side for the Eagles? I don't know off the top of my head. Is that is that
Is that
Reddick? Is
Hassan
Reddick?
Reddick maybe? Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Reddick plays on the left side more, but either way, those are some good dudes. But either way, great to have Abe back. Love highlighting that. We got one more out. Let's get to that, and then we got a glorious last in. But let's get to that last out. Got to do the job. Yes. Okay. All right, Brandon. I don't have a highlight, shots peeled up. I'll unveil somebody in a second, but I do have a bit of a pop quiz for you. So this
Ooh.
is the third out. All right, let's say, yeah. I mean, we could say, look, Lockett's got to catch that ball. We know he's got to catch that ball. Lockett knows he's got to catch that ball. Did it change the game? It absolutely changed the game. We could say Darrell Taylor's got to bring down Dak, or heck, refs could blow a whistle. The thing I really can't stand about that play, besides the fact that Dak gets away, is that like if Darrell Taylor does something aggressive to bring Dak down, like aggressive, he'll get flagged. He'll get flagged for like being, excessive. Meanwhile, Dak is a big, strong, prime athlete human. What's he, 6'4",
Yeah,
230?
he's a big dude.
This is a dude, man.
There should also be somebody else there. For as long as Taylor had him, how did one of our other guys not make it?
100%. Let's just sit there watching, I agree with
Like they didn't want a
all that.
half of a sack. They
Yeah,
wanted
no.
Taylor to get the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, was there some bonus on the line? What was there? I agree. But like I'm saying, it could be Lockett. We're not going to go there. It could be Taylor for just not finishing the job. Not going to go there. But I have this quiz for you, Brandon. If it's 4th and 2, okay, and the game's on the line, and you have to convert, tell me when I get to a player where you are uncomfortable with him being the focus. Okay, ready?
Okay.
Right? Okay. DK Metcalf, him being the focus. Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
Stop me when you feel uncomfortable.
You keep going.
Lockett.
Yeah, keep going.
Okay. JSN.
Good there.
Okay. Bobo.
Sure.
Okay. Fant.
Yeah.
Okay. How about Disley?
You could design a play for Will Disley.
Sure.
Now they missed. Gino threw a little high to him on another play that could have been impactful. But yeah, hey, a play to Will Disley. Like, how many times do we see him go over the middle and pick up a few yards?
Okay. Plenty. Even how about a Gino keeper? Let's say a design Gino keeper. Comfort level. 4th and 2.
4th and 2.
Okay. Starting to feel like
yeah.
a little uncomfortable, a little iffy. Okay. Screen, basically, bailout screen to DJ Dallas.
Who?
Yeah. With Sharbs in the medical tent, I have got to put. He's got to do it. He's got to own it. He's got. I'm putting Waldron right there, dude. It's 4th and 2. It's not the play call. I get if it works. I understand it. I saw plenty of great breakdowns. At first, I'm like, oh my gosh, how could Abe not take Micah? I was wrong. I was like, nope, that's not his guy. That's a design play. Plenty of good breakdowns out there. Awesome time to be a fan. People come on, really knowledgeable, breakdown tape nearly live. Really cool. Relying on DJ Dallas with the game on the line, with the fact that you're saying, okay, we're going to allow Micah Parsons to be a free runner by design and then get a ball to DJ Dallas. I know he's capable. It's egregious. Now Abe Lucas gets blown up in this play. That's actually what destroys the play. Lucas gets blown up by 90 Lawrence, and DJ can't get out. He can't escape. But you need like an athletic, quick twitch guy, I feel like, to get across across the face there, Brandon. Dude, scheming something to DJ Dallas on 4th and 2 when you need a first down, I'm highly unacceptable to me. And I'm not sure how you feel about it, but I was flummoxed, to say the least.
Amy Holmes in the chat saying KYP, know your personnel. And it was a big ask for DJ Dallas to get in position to make this screenplay. And you saw it, there wasn't much room for him to make it. He was kind of put in a bad position anyway. Does he have to line up to Gino's left to go out for a screen on the right side? I would argue no, he doesn't. He could absolutely line up on the right. Maybe that tips it off a little bit that you're going that direction. I don't know. But I also think that if you're going to then, if that's the play that you want to run, why not audible, flip it, and run away from Parsons' side? So
yeah.
Well, one, your point is like, why do you run that play anyway? But also, it seemed like a really bad idea to run that in the direction that they did.
And I hear the adjustments that you're suggesting. Yeah. And of course you're supposed to be fooling the defense. That's the whole thing, right? So you come across the face, and you come across, you come to the other side, and then you run it to the more open side because they're sitting on the left hash, right? So it might be more difficult to operate the other way around. I get all those things. I just have a major problem with the play calling. We scored 5 touchdowns. We should have won the game. The defense had chances to stop them. Also, with that, the last 3, we were at one point, we were 9 for 11 on third downs. We finished 9 for 14, and we can't convert on fourths. It's the game. It's the ball game. So it's just these major miscues. I'm hopeful it's like lessons learned, and this does not become the season that got away when we freaking could not convert versus the Bengals, when we could not put the game away versus the Rams, and we could not just hold off the Cowboys. 3 games right there where it's like we kind of bungled it. And if we don't make the playoffs, one of those 3 wins might have gotten us in. If we don't make the playoffs, I think this is the guy that's going to feel the heat if that doesn't happen with all the talent that's out there, because this is a very talented group. Anything else on Waldron, good, bad, or ugly, before we move to our final in, I should say?
Oh, let's get to the end. I don't have anything else to say.
Okay, let's get to that in. Whammy. Let's go. Okay. This is also a fun in. It's cool to watch a player emerge. It's stupid to watch the NFL not understand what a catch is still. That's dumb. I'm not even saying that JSN's touchdown was absolutely a catch. However, given the rules and the subjectivity of it can hit the ground, but it can't be significant movement, yada, yada, yada. If that's the description that you're putting English out there with very specific words, then that's a touchdown.
And the call you go with the call on the field unless you see something significant to overturn it.
Correct. And the ball, and everybody's like, well, the ball hit the ground. It's allowed to. The cone of the ball is allowed to hit the ground. There actually could be even a little bit of movement. That's actually okay too, by the rules. It just can't be clear that it jostled it. Anyway, he doesn't get that. That's not about this. This is about the emergence of JSN. This is about the subtleties of his game. And I wanted to bring this up. So now we are at Q4. 35-30, we're winning 35-30, Q4, 8:49 to go. We're at our own 37-yard line. It's 3rd and 7. And we got Gino in shotgun. DJ's almost playing like a super tight fullback position. He's like offset, but he's like really tight to the center. He's kind of just off of a like Delu's butt, essentially. It's 11 personnel, and you got JSN in the slot, and Lockett comes motion right to left. And this is right here. I captured 2 screenshots where you see JSN just goes out like 3.5 yards, turns around, finds a little pocket right there on 3rd and 7. We heard all throughout the week, we got to be able to throw it short of the sticks and convert. And you see where JSN's like positioning his body here. This is as he pivots and turns, and the little subtleties just as the ball's getting there, Brandon, I flip it over. It's these little things he does with his body where he's shifting really incredibly. It's tiny things, and he just throws defenders off their game as they're trying to engage for a hit. And he ends up getting upfield, getting like 3.5 more yards, just gets there, converts, 1st down Seahawks. Should have won this game. We did not, but JSN played really, really well. And he's doing a lot of little things with the volume he's starting to get to be like, yeah, this dude can play. He's like striding into a 700 to 800 yard season at this point. If he just kind of keeps up that pace on a team with Lockett and Metcalf, where we had big time struggles in major parts of this season, and he's just gliding into a 750-yard rookie season. I'm impressed. I'm calling out JSN for the last stand.
Yeah, I saw on Field Goals today that they had an article about the record that JSN has the potential to try and take down as
Ooh.
a Seahawks rookie. And when I see that as a headline, I'm thinking, okay, well, what record would he be in line for? Because yards is a tough ask. Because Joey Galloway, he didn't have a ton of catches, but he had a ton of yards. Just because, I mean, he caught a lot of deep passes his rookie season, and he also happens to hold the record for rookie receptions, which is 67, and JSN at 45 right now. So 22 catches, not necessarily out of the realm of possibility over this next stretch of games. The thing that jumped out at me, though, was the company on this list of all-time Seahawks rookie receptions. This is not a list of scrubs. Joey Galloway, DK Metcalf, Steve Largent, Darrell Jackson, Doug Baldwin, Tyler Lockett.
Those are, I don't think there's another receiver in our top 5 or 6 ever, right? Like,
right. Yeah.
That's it.
Brian Blades would be the one.
Yep. Blades would be up there for sure. That's it though. That's it.
Right.
That's our best of our best. That's him. That's awesome. That's awesome.
It jumped out at me, the company that he's already among in his rookie season. Very cool for JSN.
Yes, in this disappointing rookie campaign, right? And it's one of those things where fantasy football creeps way too much into football, and I love fantasy football. I play quite a bit of it. It's just that it creeps so far in where they'll point to Addison or Zay Flowers or Puka or Tank Dell stinks that the dude broke his friggin' fibula. It's terrible. With all that stuff, I get all that, but you got to look at this. You got to look at the cast. It's like, Zay Flowers wouldn't get the touches he's getting if Metcalf and Lockett were on the Ravens. That's just what the situation is. The very interesting piece will be, does his acceleration, does JSN's acceleration continue throughout the end of this year? Whether we're tracking for the playoffs, kind of sticking close to it or not, is he going to be 5-6 receptions a game, or does he kind of have those 2 to 3 games? Does he dip back down there? And it's really like, well, what do the Seahawks want to do? And is he really starting to supplant Lockett as that 1A or 2 with Alpha Metcalf on the other side? I think he is starting to. I'm not ready to throw Lockett out with the bathwater, but I would not be, let me throw this out there. I would not be shocked. I wouldn't put it off the table. This is December 4th, 2023. I would not put it off the table if Lockett decides to retire after this year. And this is not like just because of who he is, because of like, he's already established. He's made, all the money. He's made tons of money. He's got his real estate thing going on. And he clearly is more on the trajectory of like a Doug Baldwin. Like, I've got things to do post football. He's very open about that. He's like, I'm not playing for 20 years. Now, this is still a long shot, but if it does happen in the offseason, he's like, you know what? I had a great career. I'm healthy, and I'm going to count my blessings and go and move on. I wouldn't be shocked, and I'm not calling for it, nor do I want that. It just wouldn't shock me if that actually ends up being the thing. Put that aside for a second. Do you think we get more JSN down the stretch in general, and does it come at the expense of less Lockett?
I don't know. I think they found a pretty good mix with the trio, and it could shift a little bit. I mean, you had DK out there for 90% of the snaps. Tyler was only out there 1 fewer snap than DK. JSN 46 snaps to Tyler, so 15 fewer. I think that they've kind of found that mix. I feel like if you were to go back and when all 3 guys are healthy, that it's pretty similar to that. So I just think that that's probably how it's going to be. And JSN's gotten some nice production. So Yeah, I think that that is possible. Going back to Tyler Lockett, 23. So I guess the Seahawks have a potential out with his salary cap this year, but he isn't doing anything necessarily that makes me think that they would cut him apart from, okay, you have JSN now. Could you use that cap savings somewhere else? And if he were to be cut, like, would he take a pay cut? Would he stick around on the team? He does have 2 more years left on his contract. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that he's still playing at a high level, and it does, I suppose, give the Seahawks the flexibility of saying, hey, we have the out in the contract this offseason. We're going to take it. We want you to come back, but it would be at a lower number. And and if it doesn't work out, then we have DK and Jackson Smith and Jigba and Jake Bobo to roll with.
The number does balloon next year. I know we have all off season to talk about it. It was just something that crept into my mind a little bit, and just watching Lockett and what he's been talking about at the podium, like it just, I would not have thought that 8 months ago, but now I'm like, it wouldn't absolutely shock me. I still put it at 25% or less, but it wouldn't shock me if he's like, it's time for me to hang him up while I'm healthy, and it goes to 15 million plus as a base next year. It's still for a top tier wide receiver, it's quite a good contract. For a good wide receiver, it's an okay contract. But hey, that's the bed you make, right? You pay your veterans, you get them on another contract, and away you go. We'll see what happens. I would not be shocked if they try to renegotiate, but I would say Tyler's still got the leverage with two years to go, and see he holds the cards basically. So it'll be interesting. All right, Brandon, we made it through the outs. We talked about. I do want to go back and say, look, the ins. Tariq played a much strong game. Abe Lucas made a big difference, especially in the run game, and JSN continues to emerge. That's pretty cool. Tariq is so second year dude, rookie, and they're on the inside the ledger as we almost win a really close game that we were supposed to get killed in. We're still in this thing. We are still in this thing. There's things that got to go our way now. Now we got to play a little bit of scoreboard watching, and that gets real serious. But this is the NFL, man. Nothing besides the NFC West. We're not going to win that. Besides the NFC West, nothing is off the table, in my opinion. This is still a wide open season with 5 games to go. The percentages might say we have a less of a chance, and that's just what the probabilities are. But in my heart of hearts, I still think this team is making the playoffs. I still think I'll tell you why. Because we're better than the friggin' Vikings. I know the Rams beat us twice. We're better than the Rams. Packers are surging. We're a better team than the Packers. So I think we find a way and still get into the playoffs. I just don't know if it starts this week against the Niners, though.
I would sure like it. I'd be fine with it. Although, if would I trade for a loss to the Niners to go into the playoffs 8-9 and then beat the Niners in the playoffs to knock out their Super Bowl chances? I'd make that trade every day.
Every single day, twice on Sundays, and even a Monday night flex game we got coming up, Brandon. It's going to be fun. And I think with that,
are we out of here? Are we not doing From the Flock?
Oh, no. And I think with that, it's time to go to From the Flock. Exactly right. I was feeling all good. I'm like, we nailed the ending. Yeah. We got From the Flock. All right. We don't have an NBC. We don't have none of that stuff. We always got From the Flock. That's my bad. It's live, so we can't edit that out. I make about a dozen mistakes per show. It's just that you get to see about one of them, audience, because I edit most of them. And I still mess up when I edit because I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot that one too. So yeah, I think with that, it's time for From the Flock. Brandon, how can folks get into the Discord? Let's tell the good people.
You can become a member of the flock by going to getintheflock.com, and $3 a month and above gets you into our Discord channel. You can also join via YouTube. There may be some extra step, like Amy, who is in the chat, may have to add you once you get into the Discord, and she's been very helpful with that. So a big thanks to Amy being one of our Discord helper outers and moderators. So and thanks to Brian Shaw, one of our executive producers, also watching live tonight. And yes, they all went to getintheflock.com. They're helping to support the show.
Love it. It is the giving season. We're still doing this win, lose, or draw 5 days a week during the season. So join in. And then you get the great perks. You get to hang out in the Discord. I'll kick us off here. We had Frost, who we also call Coach Frost affectionately in the Discord. Frost says, in last couple of weeks, people have been talking about how old Jason Peters is instead of how old Pete is. And he finds that refreshing.
Got Red Wagon giving the in to Sherm, picking us and increasing the Hawkra.
He picked us, and I'm assuming you saw his suit by now,
yes,
correct?
I did. The inside suit jacket, the Seahawks. I didn't get, it wasn't close up enough that I could see, but was it just like still frames of him and his?
Yeah, I just saw like a nice up close of him just like flashing it like he was like showing us watches, like 1920s Depression era watches. But
I just
couldn't
see what the pictures were individually.
I didn't know if they were pictures or I just saw the colors. The colors look great. And it was all blue, it was all green, and a big Sherman smile that he always wears. So he's great at his job. And he was really pulling for the Seahawks. He was really, obviously, but he was really pulling for Geno, just like we were, which is kind of cool. We got Chris Brew. He says, I'm on delay, but Reek on that first tackle, really showing he learned something. That was just about an 8-yard pass to CD Lamb on the left-hand side. And Tariq sticks him, follows through with it. That wasn't one of the ins, but it was in that same first drive.
Got fire hats for all. Also giving credit to Woolen. Car coming in and giving an in to Witherspoon for setting up that Taylor sack.
Yes, and she also gives DK some love for the opposite of dropping that ball 73 yards later and running as fast as any human has run in the NFL this year. I think it was 22.34 miles per hour, which is very, very fast. And hey, the only thing that kind of worked for the Eagles yesterday, plus we got a tackle, was slants. Slants to AJ Brown. They slanted early. And I was texting you guys like, hey, I hope you're watching, coach, like slant the darn thing. Or we got our first out. The biggest little flocker saying yet another BS penalty. How is that a false start on Evan Brown looking through his legs? That happens on every shotgun snap. This was 3rd and 3, went to 3rd and 8. And I think the very next play is a 73-yard touchdown.
So it didn't hurt us, but yeah, very questionable.
Not a penalty though.
I don't understand it. Yeah, unless he did something different, but
he didn't flinch. He didn't move the ball. They said something about progressing the ball or something like that. He didn't do that. He looked down, looked back up, and hiked it. Completely what every center does, as it was called out on shotgun plays. So there was, you guys talked a bit about the refs, and it's so many days removed. There was a lot of bad stuff in this game. I got 3, 4, 5 different pockets of people texting me in the game, ranging from my dad to like rando folks that I went to high school with. And they're all, none of them are Cowboys fans. Everybody hates the Cowboys. Most of New Yorkers all can't stand the Cowboys, but they're texting me like, dude, the refs are handing them this game. So didn't want to go down that path too much, but evident to everybody else out there that it was some garbage stuff. I'll take one more. We got 12th man records giving it out. He says giving up on that 3rd and 16. We covered that specifically as one of our first outs.
Yeah, we got an in from Frost. Hey, one of those things that worked out for us was when McCarthy declined the penalty and gave us a 3rd and 8 rather than pushing us back. And then Tyler Lockett makes a great catch and we moved the chains.
I had a Cowboys fan I was texting with who wrote back, our coach is terrible. That was like 2nd and 19. Like, what are you doing? So anyway, just horrible. All right, we're going to skip down. Let us go down to, we got Hawk Van Dyke out yet another national game where the play that shall not be named is evoked. They got to the 1-yard line and the announcers had to talk about that. For what it's worth, I don't think that Herb Street is very good. It's very good. It's
his
like
one Seahawks memory. In 10 years, he can't think of anything else. So that's what his go-to is.
And just too passive, just like won't take a side on anything. At least Al Michaels is like, I don't know. That didn't look like this. That didn't look like a hold. And Herb's just like, well, he kind of tough. I'm like, dude, just like take a side, take a stand, like have a freaking voice and don't just be a pushover for the league.
Design Pete's Beach House coming in with the out. Refs not letting anyone play. Even announcers see that these are ridiculous. And the 3rd quarter of this game was so unwatchable because after every play, you're looking for the flag and wondering, okay, was this last play going to count, or are we going to have the refs come on the screen once again and explain that there was some penalty that didn't make that much difference in terms of what actually happened on the field?
It was egregious. We said it earlier, and that entire drive, I think it was 28-20, right? With that at that point where they get that drive with 5 or so flags. Some were you could call them, some were absolutely not penalties. Like the Bobby Wagner play specifically, absolutely not a penalty. Didn't get there early, didn't hit the guy, just tackles him as the ball's already passing him. Just bad. But even the other ones, the ones on the corners, they were bad calls, man. It's like let them play a little bit. Anyway, all garbage. What do you expect from the refs? If you watch other NFL games, it's the thing is, I'd love to say they really don't like us. NFL refs are kind of garbage, and this happens all the time, especially with PIs. Except for when Kansas City Chiefs MVS gets tackled at the 2-yard line last night, and they just somehow say no. All right, we got JSN, Iggy with it, getting jiggy with it. That's Lisa, of course, says in defense, not letting that interception hurt us. You get the interception by Bland. The defense stands up and gets the ball right back. It was, kind of a good showing right there. So great call by Lisa.
Yeah, and leading up to that, Scott Campbell gives the out to Waldron, saying he just cost us the game with those 3 horrid plays that ended in the pick. Fire him now. When I think of a stretch of plays in the game, I don't necessarily think of the ones that lead up to that interception. One, because they ran it on first down again, which is a nice 3-yard gain on first down. 2nd and 7, I get of the 3 play calls, that one's probably the worst because it's another one of those deep down the field throws to DK that doesn't work out. Okay. And then the 3rd and 7, I don't think that was a bad play call. That was a really good play by Deron Bland. I don't know if he went back and watched that and the replay at all, but the way he crashes down on Tyler, he is reading that. And so I guess if you want to give it to Waldron and that it being kind of a scripted call, like, of course, Tyler's going to run 7 yards and then go to the sideline and try and pick up the first down because that's what he does. Man, if they would have had a double move on Bland on that play, he would have been roasted because of the way he crashed down on Tyler. But then Tyler has to kind of round off his route, and Bland is right there as Gino's throwing it to the sticks, and that's essentially why the interception happened there.
Yeah, you and Adam talked about that on the post game, their live reaction, and Adam had a good point. I think you agreed that Lockett's route wasn't very precise.
It couldn't be. It was the defender that forced him into that bad route.
Exactly. So nice play by the defender is what it boils down to. And I think the frustration from Scott was probably going outside once again. We talked about over the middles where picks happen more often. Well, not for us this year. Gino's been getting picked off along the sidelines, and we saw it again. But to Lisa's point, they do stand right back up and get the ball back, which was super cool. So
the thing that Tyler, in hindsight, and I'm almost a little surprised just because he is so good at drawing fouls, if instead of going and going to the sideline, if he turns it as if he's running a post, then he just runs right into Bland, and Bland probably gets called for interference.
Yeah. Which is another play. I really wish the NFL can. I think they can. I think there's a way to fix my most hated play in the NFL. I hate DPIs just because they're miscalled so often. The worst is the underthrow. So the almost purposeful deep bomb underthrow where the DB has no shot, the safety has no shot, and the guy puts on the brakes and then it takes him out. It's like,
which is what Tyler did later at a different point in the game.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And I do want to pull up Saigon on screen here too. He's talking about, so he says, look at the 49ers game. It was the same catch as JSN who got denied, but they gave the 49ers a touchdown. That was on the Ayuk. So it was 6-0 Eagles. That's on the Ayuk play. And it is similar. To me, it is quite similar. Ayuk catches it while diving. The cone of the ball that's under his belly clearly hits the ground. Looks like it might jostle the tiniest bit. No problem. It's a touchdown. But I agree with that call. I think that is by the rules, by the current rules. I think it's a touchdown. But I also think JSN should have been a touchdown too. But good call out by Saigon there.
Yeah, the only slight difference in those two plays was that Ayuk had more of his hand under the football. But if you want to be really, I don't see how much hand you have under the football as part of the rules as to what is and isn't a catch.
Nope. That's
They
not.
also took another one off the board. One of the, what was it? The Eagles, was it an Eagles tight end who got 3 feet down in the end zone? No, I think it was at the Arizona game. There was some tight end who he caught it in the end zone. He made two steps, got a 3rd foot down, and then on a super rainy day, he lost the football going to the ground after he had already got 3 feet down.
That part is very confusing to me, and that's the got to complete the catch rule, right? And I get that, but you're in the end zone with possession with 3 feet. What's the difference if you were running it in and you barely got the cone over the line? Like, you're in the end zone, right? So I happen to think also, like, hey, if you get 2 feet and a 3rd foot down,
well, if it's and that part doesn't matter if you're in the end zone or not in the end zone. If you have 3 feet and possession.
right?
Well, I suppose if that would have been in the field of play and he fumbled it, then it would have been a fumble. But he just didn't. He didn't survive the ground, which is what you would do after 2 feet. So anyway,
Yeah, it's interesting. I hear you. But this discussion in 2023, all goes back to the what's his face, the Cowboys.
right to
Dez,
Des Bryant, yeah,
This all goes back to that Dez call, which I look at that and go, that's a catch.
that was a catch. And then they tried for years to make that not a catch because they had ruled it in the playoffs that it was. And then they're like, oh yeah, we have to go back and say that Dez caught it.
And we're still talking about the subjectivity of this stupid call, which that's the thing. It's like, and every time the NFL tries to make a course correction, I feel like they add subjectivity. It's like, oh, we'll just make it a little bit more subjective, but that'll cure it. It's like, no, dude.
Everything.
Yeah, no. Let's put some sensors in the friggin' ball. They're very light. They're basically micro, like nano chips. Let's do something that way, and let's take away subjectivity from humans on the field. That's my take.
We got 12th man records also given an end to Bobo for blocks on the last play in the 3rd. We did see some nice Bobo blocking in this game.
We did. I do want to call this one out because it's such a good nook and cranny. Chris Brew says DJ choosing not to throw that football. It's actually a great decision. That was one of those, what are we doing? Last time DJ threw a pass, it was bad news. I think that was against the Niners last year at the goal line. Horrible. Where the whole machine's running well, and then we got to go to gadgets with, again, DJ Dallas gadget plays, really? But it was a good decision by DJ to not throw the ball. So I do like that.
There we go. Amy Holmes in the chat saying, I, for one, welcome our AI ref overlords. Hey, robots are calling balls and strikes in baseball. Let's figure it out to where we have AI refs in NFL football.
Don't blame me. I voted for Kodos.
Let's see. We've got Delwyn with the in. Reek getting his big boy tackling pants on. This is going through the game, and Reek still getting credit for his tackling.
Yeah. Frost has got out DJ's drop. I don't remember a DJ drop. Did Dallas have a drop also? It's not the fourth. It's not the 4th down play. I just don't remember a DJ drop. Maybe he did out of the backfield.
Yeah, it could be. It's not jumping out at me either.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Who else we got?
We got a few more here. How about Cadio?
Cadio. In, happy to see so many TDs, even if we didn't win. Hopefully a confidence booster. Yeah, the offense for 3 quarters performed very well. Now we just need a complete game where they score through all the 4 quarters, which is what we're going to need if the defense decides not to show up.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get that full game. We just get these egregious patch. I've said egregious a lot this episode. We just get those patches where they get drought. They seem so. It seems like that. It seems like such a drought all of a sudden. Like the thing got broken. In this game, we actually were like, oh, then we fixed it, which is weird. That 3rd quarter was ugly. Right hand Dan had a couple of good ins and outs in offense as a whole. Amazing what Gino can achieve when he's got to do everything by himself. Interesting take. Interesting. He says, out. This defense used to be decent. This defense is too expensive to not still be decent. In. That was a great catch from Fant in the 3rd quarter. We should be using him more. Everybody knows that's my man crush this year. I love me some Noah Fant. Out. If I have to listen to one more, here we go. I'm going to tear my ears off. I think that was Dak Prescott's Omaha Prescott version.
We got Flocktimus Prime with the in. America gets to see the true star of the NFL, Cleet Blakeman. Yeah, it was a great Great showing by Cleat in this game.
Yeah, shove your cleat where the sun don't shine, cleat. Let's do that. All right, let's see if we got a few more here that we didn't get to yet. Love Lloydzilla Hugh from the UK out that 3rd and 16. We talked about that, so he's just saying he'd much prefer the defense. Defending a 3rd and 3. The 3rd and 16 was too soft. In running the ball on 1st down, we talked about that a lot, but that don't make it wrong. It makes it even more right.
And we've got Jay in Alaska coming in after the games, giving the out to the NFC West, going 3-1 this week, and we were the 1.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to finish this thing on an in true style. We got Benny, just because I don't want to end a depressing note. Benny the Giraffe saying huge into the offense for scoring 19 points on that one drive. That was, at least it was kind of cool, Brendan, to be like, oh, we stink in the red zone. Oh, we can't be stopped in the red zone. It was what, a Fant touchdown that didn't take. DK got the real touchdown, and who got the third? Was that JSN on the actual other not touchdown?
Oh, so it was
I know Fant was
JSN.
one.
JSN started. Let's see.
I think JSN was also one. I think.
What was the sequence? Because that was the deep throw to JSN,
right?
And then did the Cowboys call timeout when they ran a play and it was a Fant touchdown?
Oh, right. They barely. Yeah. McCarthy whispered. He may have whispered timeout into the winds. Meanwhile, Pete is barking at the official, screaming timeout after they should have moved the ball. No excuses, Jason. Myers has paid way too much money to have the 2nd worst kicking percentage in the league. I promised I wouldn't finish this on a bad note.
Yeah.
The red zone offense looked much, much better. Like, we proved we could score in the red zone, and hopefully, there you go, Amy with it, of course, JSN, Fant, DK, the triple have it your way, showing that we can move the ball, showing that we can mix it up in a much more healthy way. We got explosives. We had great stuff over the middle. We had a good run game cooking. Hopefully K9 gets healthy enough to come back. I don't know about Charbonnet with the bang knee. It sounds like it was a bad bruise. Hopefully we got the full complement of the weaponry, because Brandon, we're going to need it versus these 49ers. They just destroyed what we thought was either the best team or a close second in the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC, and it wasn't close. The Eagles looked worse than we did when it came to tackling. They looked really bad.
They did. So what an opportunity it is for the Seahawks after a couple bad weeks, or 3 bad weeks, losing to the Rams, losing to the Niners, losing to the Cowboys. They now have an opportunity. What would the conversation be like if you go back-to-back weeks, wins over the Niners, wins over the Eagles, and then they're back into playoff position?
Not just playoffs. We're going to the Super Bowl at that point, Brandon. We're taking the whole thing. Let's go. And I think with that,
there's only one thing left to say.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.